So the roster has been released for the first Republican primary debate of 2016. It'll, of course, be on Fox News. And there's some controversy over the picks already. So in the main event, in the primetime debate, which is the one that everybody's looking forward to, there's going to be Donald Trump, who's number one in virtually every single poll, which is really sad, but nonetheless, it's the reality. It's going to be Trump, Jeb Bush, Scott Walker, Mike Huckabee, Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Rand Paul, Chris Christie, and John Kasich. And then they're also going to have a kids' table debate, an earlier debate, and that includes everybody else. So it'll be Rick Perry, Rick Santorum, Bobby Jindal, Carly Fiorina, Lindsey Graham, George Pataki, and Jim Gilmore. Jim Gilmore is somebody, even his family doesn't know who the fuck he is. His wife is like, "You're running for president? I didn't fucking know anything about this. What's happening?" His mom is like, "I'm not voting for him. Who knows who he is? I don't even know who the fuck he is." It's super, super irrelevant. Now, Roger Ailes said that the picks were going to be done based off of polling. But, of course, there's 976 polls out there, so which polls? You know, he was waiting until the last minute to pick whichever one he liked the most. But guys like John Kasich and Ben Carson didn't really get in based on any polls. And guys like Santorum and Perry are definitely more popular than those guys, even though obviously we, disagree with all of them, and we may think that Perry and Santorum are among the most unreasonable people in the primary. I think that's totally true. But the reality is John Kasich did not beat these guys in any polls. Definitely not in a majority of the polls. Perry and Santorum definitely have more support than Ben Carson and John Kasich. So what happened is Roger Ailes really just picked whoever he wanted to pick. There's no doubt that he was just like, okay, I want this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, and fuck everybody else. I mean, a sitting senator, Lindsey Graham, he's like, yeah, fuck that guy. Second tier, he's going to be in the earlier debate. Now, granted, nobody's voting for Lindsey Graham, that's clear, so maybe he deserves to be in the second tier. But bottom line, it really is handpicked by Roger Ailes, and if you think Fox News is abiding by some objective standard, I have a bridge to sell you. But in celebration of this first debate, I decided I'm going to play for you guys a compilation of the dumbest Republican debate moments from the last two debates. Enjoy.
Your state has executed 234 death row inmates, more than any other governor in modern times. Have you struggled to sleep at night with the idea that any one of those might have been innocent?
No, sir, I've never struggled with that at all.
My advice to him would have a major medical policy, but not before.
But he doesn't have that. He doesn't have it, and he needs intensive care for 6 months. Who pays?
That's what freedom is all about, taking your own risk. This whole idea that you have to prepare and take care of everybody.
But, Congressman, are you saying the society should just let him die?
No.
Some people have said we had to close Guantanamo. My view is we had to double Guantanamo.
Against the Second Amendment before he was for the Second Amendment? Was before he was before these social programs from the standpoint of he was for standing up for Roe versus Wade, before he was against Roe versus Wade? He was for race to the top. He's for Obamacare, and now he's against it.
You recently said black Americans should demand jobs, not food stamps. You also said poor kids lack a strong work ethic and proposed having them work as janitors in their schools. Can't you see that this is viewed at a minimum as insulting to all Americans, but particularly to black Americans?
No, I don't see that.
Governor Thompson, same theme. If a private employer finds homosexuality immoral, should he be allowed to fire a gay worker?
I think that is left up to the individual business. I really sincerely believe that that is an issue that business people have got to make their own determination as to whether or not they should be.
Okay. So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe in evolution?
Yes.
I'm curious, is there anybody on the stage that does not agree in believe in evolution?
Yeah.
Hilarious. No, in many ways, they make it too easy for the Democrats in the general election. You know, it's certainly true that in the midterm elections, the Republican base gets out there to vote much more than the Democratic base does. And that's unfortunate. You know, the Democrats should get their shit together and should fire up the base more for the midterm elections. But for a general election, when we're talking about somebody running for president of the United States, I think a lot of people who wouldn't even necessarily describe themselves as Democrats, they might say, hey, I'm independent or whatever, they look at the positions that the Republicans take on different issues, and they just go, oh, come on. Really? Is that they're so deep in their own bubble, and it's an echo chamber. They're talking to like-minded people who, in all seriousness, are just not that bright and are super ignorant and have terrible ideas. And so when the rest of the country looks at that and the rest of the world looks at that, they're just like, oh my goodness, is this real life? This feels like the fucking Twilight Zone.